Many people in the United States think of slavery as a historical era, something that happened so long ago that it has nothing to do with our present-day experiences as individuals or collectively as a nation. But the reality is that slavery endured until very recently, and its echoes are still being felt. My father's grandmother, Julia (née Wright) Hines, was born an enslaved child in the unincorporated small town of Watley, Georgia, in 1858. For almost 5 years, until the Emancipation Proclamation was issued on January 1st, 1863, she was legally identified as chattel. The law of this land did not consider her to be human. In 2020, the results of a DNA test connected me with my paternal relatives, who had traced our family history all the way back to Julia's mother, Classy Smith, who was born an enslaved person in 1834, after marrying Simeon Hines and together raising what records show to be at least 18 children. Julia lived a long life and died at the age of 94 in August 1952. She lived her entire life in Georgia, through slavery and the Jim Crow South. She never experienced full freedom. Anyone who is at least 20 years old most likely knows someone who was born in the early 1950s when Julia, someone who lived during the era of legalized enslavement of Black people, was still alive. This is living memory. History is not simply the study of past events. It is an inescapable link that connects these events across time, allowing us to understand and grow from them. The history of my family is the history of America, and that history permeates every aspect of current-day American life and culture, from clerking at a grocery store to the inner workings of a prosecutor's office. When I began my career as a prosecutor in the office of the state's attorney for Baltimore City in my 20s, Black people in my childhood neighborhood often disparagingly told me, "You put Black people in jail for a living." I eventually came to see why they felt that way. The U.S. justice system is in conflict with the purported American ideals of justice and freedom for all, but is consistent with American history. Thomas Jefferson and the Founding Fathers defined the word all in a narrow sense. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence declared that all men are created equal, with unalienable rights to life and liberty, but it did not apply these rights to enslaved Black people and women. Just as the DNA of my family runs through my veins, connecting me to ancestors once unknown to me, the racial DNA of America runs through its veins, connecting it to its forgotten or ignored past. The disease of racism toward Black people took root in America's DNA when white colonizers enslaved the first African people in 1619. Today, the justice system and prosecutor's office function in exactly the same way they were intended to work when they were founded centuries ago, to imprison and punish Black people.